What up, Hyperchange? Welcome to another episode. Today we're going to dive deep on disruption in the financial media landscape. I've got a really cool guest, Jeremy from Financial Education Channel. Jeremy, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here with the main man, Galileo. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so for those who don't know you, you're a YouTuber, and you're really special to me personally because seeing you have financial analysis on YouTube, you were one of the first people doing this. Sort of inspired me to start my own YouTube channel and even realize that there was a potential business model behind it, and just opened my brain to this disruption in the financial media landscape. And I think you were truly a pioneer in going on YouTube and starting a channel. So I'm curious if you could give us for those who don't know what your channel is, what do you do all day? What's your channel about?
Okay, so first off, thank you for saying those kind words. That's amazing to me. That's one of the reasons I do this. But so my channel, Financial Education, I started that in early 2016. And originally I just wanted to talk about finances, maybe a little stocks, entrepreneurship, things like that. Slowly over time, it kind of morphed more toward just talking about stocks, valuations, markets in general, my opinion on that. And I do agree that what anybody does on YouTube when it comes to giving bullish theses around stocks or the market in general, it's game changing, because in the past it was either you had to write an article to hopefully get seen out there, or you had to go on CNBC, Bloomberg, the traditional media route, which it wouldn't have been accessible for somebody like me talking about stocks. When I started the channel, I think I was 26 years old or whatever, right? And I'm 30 now. They wouldn't have let me on. And then the problem with the old school media, the CNBC, Bloombergs, when they have you on, you can't even give your full bullish thesis around a stock. So let's say, I know we talk about Tesla stock all the time, right? Let's say you're really, really bullish about Tesla stock. You have no opportunity to give your full bullish thesis. They're going to have you on. They're going to want to talk about drama. Oh, what did Elon Musk say on Twitter today? It's just this has been the most game-changing thing. And I feel privileged to do it. And my normal day is I wake up and I talk about whatever I want to talk about, talk about an individual stock, if I want to talk about multiple stocks, and I post them on my two YouTube channels, Financial Education and Financial Education 2. And, I can give you an example of how game-changing things are was when I've always tracked Tesla, but when I really started looking into that as a serious investment, I came across your channel. This was probably 2 years ago now. And you had so many great videos on your full bullish thesis on how they were changing the game and numbers you thought they could do. And, that's just the type of stuff that we've never had before now. This is going on now, and this has never gone on before, and so, yeah, I'm happy to see where everything's gone.
And so where did you get the idea of okay, I'm going to start posting these videos online? And when did it click for you that this is actually a business that I could do as my full-time job?
So I think, 2016 I started. So I was running my real estate marketing company, which I was just starting up. And, anybody that's ever started a business, think low in the start. Usually things don't work out, in front. I had some time. And so I was let me just start recording videos talking about money. I was good with saving money and just investing and things like that. So I was let's just talk about this. But I don't think I really started to realize it could be a business model till I think it was probably mid to late 2017. And because at that moment, I actually started making some good money from YouTube. And then it got to the point where even though I built my real estate marketing company, I was starting to have thoughts I might actually go full-time YouTube and just say, forget my other business. And that was the moment for me where I was whoa, this is not just a little side income source. This could be full-time. And then I just realized the opportunity there was way bigger. And so actually in the beginning of 2018, I shut down my real estate marketing company. And I was I'm going full-time YouTube. And I've been doing it ever since. And it was the best decision I ever made. A lot of people are around me, especially my mom, when I talked to her about it, she's oh, I don't know. You should probably keep doing that. It's stable money. You make blah, blah, blah. And I'm Ma, I think my bigger opportunity is YouTube. And it definitely was, looking back. So,
yeah. And so I'm curious could you walk us through a little bit of your creative process because I feel we're in such a weird niche. Like you said, you wake up, whatever interests us, we got to make a video about. So how do you go about that kind of ideating a hybrid of financial commentary, but also kind of vlog and keeping people entertained? How do you, create your videos?
Yeah. So, I mean, in terms of the creative process, I'm either looking for something I'm super inspired to talk about, or I'm looking for something that a lot of other people want me to talk about. So I'll always go through comments and see, like for instance, the hot stock at the moment that a lot of people want us to talk about is that BTIQ, right? The Nikola
Yeah.
motor. Everybody wants that video right now. So I had to do a video on it, because it's just like everybody wants it. So my creative process is either I got to talk about something I'm passionate about, or I'm got to talk about something that I see massive amounts of people are really passionate about this and give my 2 cents on it as somebody that's a market participant. And that's usually my creative process. And I just kind of go from there. And, whenever I record videos, I just like it to be prime time. And I like to try to, be the most amped up version of myself and keep people entertained and things like that. Because, at the end of the day, if you can be entertaining plus educational and giving your opinion, I kind of feel like that's kind of like the holy grail on YouTube. So.
Gotcha. And so, moving on from like the media production side, Jeremy, like what's your like investing, Jeremy? Like what's your kind of philosophy on how you invest and manage your investment portfolio?
So, I mean, my investment philosophy is a little bit more of like a Warren Buffett value type, but I have like my new age side, which is like I'll add growth stocks. I invest in tech stocks. A lot of people probably know I'm investing in Tesla. I'm investing in Facebook. I'm invested in a company named Revolve that's on the come up really in the e-commerce space when it comes to like fashion. And so I'll definitely dabble a lot more. But so I say I'm like 75% growth, or excuse me, 75% value investing with the 25% growth kind of thrown in there because, at the end of the day, you look at where we're at. It's all technology, and technology is really running the economy. Technology is running the world, and almost every good company now is really almost a tech company at the end of the day. I hate to keep bringing up Tesla, but I know you always talk about Tesla's a tech company. You shouldn't really think about it as a car company. You should think about it as a computer with wheels, right? Yeah. And I feel like every company at its core has to be tech focused first, and then making their business model revolve around, the tech as a center. So, but that's kind of what I do. I like to hold usually, anywhere from 10 to maybe 15 stocks. I don't hold a ton of stocks, but when I do usually buy into a stock, I usually buy pretty big. So
yeah,
that's kind of my philosophy.
And I'm curious what your kind of like vision where all this goes are, because now you're running your channel. You're going to cross the 500,000 sub mark soon, which congrats, it's awesome. You have a second channel too. Like for me personally, the way I've kind of structured this is like, oh, I could have raised money from outside investors to do my own thing, manage money, take in fees that way, but there's so much regulatory scrutiny, dealing with investors, kind of a headache. Or I can do my own thing, manage my own portfolio, try and use my YouTube earnings to roll my own snowball. And for me personally, I feel like you're probably in the same spot. Like we got our business to enough where like we can actually save a little money and start investing, and then kind of just grow our snowball and investment portfolio that way. So I'm curious, like, is that how you think about it? You just want to be independent all the way, get millions of subscribers, use that revenue to keep funneling into your own portfolio? Or, there's just so many ways you can take it when you're like an independent creator that I find it's fascinating to hear like where your head's at.
Yeah. So, I mean, as far as me, like, I get a lot of these like long-term questions from people sometimes, and it's hard to say because I mean, if you would ask me, 4 years ago, would I be where I'm at? I'd be like, no, like what? I have 2 big YouTube, like that's just crazy. Like I couldn't even like wrap my head around that. So, but at the moment, like I'm just focused on YouTube. Like I love doing what I do. Like I'm excited. Like I just recorded a video right before we started, and like it still gets me as excited as ever to like record those videos and put that content out to the world and people to judge it better, for better or for worse, and just like share my opinion and get it out there. And so I haven't really fallen into the whole like YouTube burnout that some people talk about. I love what I do, man. And I don't know. I could definitely see myself doing it for quite a while. And, I own 100% of the business, and I love the fact that, I do that versus, if you have to do something else, sometimes you have to raise money, take out debt and things like that. So, and I just look at it also kind of my purpose is like educating people and getting people excited about investing. That's kind of my biggest purpose, because at the end of the day, let's be honest, most people don't invest for themselves, and that's just ridiculous. I mean, there's a lot of money to be made in the stock market if you got the right strategy and you put in the work. And the fact that people just, choose not to do this or don't know it's out there is kind of ridiculous. And so my job is kind of just to get people excited, interested in investing. Hey, you can actually make some money, but without the false promises that, obviously that we see the ads all the time, the day traders, oh, this person had 3,000, now they got $1 million. It's just so unrealistic. But getting people excited in a way where they're like, I could build wealth from this. I can slowly build, and over the next 10, 15, 20 years, I can have a nice pile of money, and that money can be used for whatever. You want to retire, you want to go on vacation, you want to start another business, right? A lot of people don't even know this. The only reason I was able to start the real estate marketing company and the YouTube channel is because I'd successfully invested before YouTube, and I had like 200K before I even got on YouTube. And then I was able to start my real estate marketing company, put like 5-10K into that, start the YouTube channel, all because of the stock market. So, that's just my purpose, man. Just get as many people excited as possible about investing.
Yeah, and it's really sad to me that like in school, like there's no class on like financial education or taxes or financial analysis, and so there's like this huge gap. And I was always so frustrated watching CNBC. Like all my friends were like, "Yeah, you're so into investing. Like, how do we learn?" And then I'm watching CNBC, which everyone's watching, and they're like, "The stock market's up 1% from lunch," and then 10 minutes later, like, now it's down 0.1% from when we said it was up 1. I'm like, this isn't helping anybody. Like, this is just actually making people dumber about investing. And so, but like that problem is a huge opportunity for us to educate and invest. And I love what you do with your channel of like even some like boring things, or like seems kind of boring, like this is my house and like this is why I decided how I'm paying for it, and like just it making it transparent and accessible and breaking the taboo and like putting it online for free the way you're doing it, and like, hey, this is how I do my portfolio. It's just, to me, so much value in that, like so much. So I give you props for that. And I'm also on the flip side of that curious, because for me a huge thing has been the learning, like people hitting me up. Like I make a video on a stock and I ask them, and then I get so much amazing information. I can hit up someone on Twitter and be on the phone in 10 minutes about an expert on vehicle to grid software just because I made a video on them. Like, how helpful has that been for you in your journey?
Definitely very helpful. Extremely helpful. I mean, some of my more recent stocks have come from, so I have a private group and we have a Discord chat. People are always talking about different stocks, and some of them are not that good, but some of them I'm like, dang, this stock is actually really undervalued. And almost everybody in there has my exact investing philosophy. So it's almost now I have like a ton of Jeremys running around out there, like sifting through stocks, and that's amazing. And dude, that's awesome that, people, contact you and you can get on the phone with somebody, or, somebody contacts you. Cause I will say, in my opinion, I've told other people this privately, I think you have one of the most intelligent, communities following you. And I'm not just saying that because we're on this. I honestly mean that. You have one of the most intelligent communities of anybody in our space. And so the amount of highly educated people that know their crap that follow you, dude, it's off the charts. So I'm sure it helps you, and it definitely helps me because and we help them. It's like everybody helping each other, and we kind of can formulate and make better decisions. So I'm thrilled. And but at the same time, in our space, we do have to sift through what's real and what's not, right? Like, back when Tesla stock was struggling, a lot of people were like, Tesla's your next GoPro, and, making, fun of Tesla, and just hating on it back then. Obviously the story's changed and the stock price has gone different ways, but so you have to kind of play that game where it's like, hey, what do I listen to? What is people hating, and what are people trying to benefit me? What are people trying to help me and trying to, understand something better? So, but yeah, it's been amazing. So.
Yeah, and the amount of times like you get emails like when Tesla was down that's like, dude, like you're putting your whole reputation on Tesla. This is a fraud. It's going to go bankrupt and you're going to ruin, like, it's like, man, it gets intense at times, but that's part of the game. Yeah. But on that note, I'm curious, like we could dive into, what companies you like and what stocks you're thinking about. Cause I know we're both, we love Tesla, I think. So I'm curious, what you got any thoughts on Tesla up to date, this crazy run? Are you holding?
Yeah, so I'm still holding. And my kind of thoughts with Tesla is it's just like, we have to kind of see the story play out. Like, I have a big bullish thesis. I know you have a big bullish thesis. ARK Invest and a lot of these people have very bullish theses. And I think we just need time to play out now, And so when I look at this one, yeah, it's gone up a lot. And I can look at it and I'd be like, oh my gosh, if I sold out of this, I had XX dollars. But I just look at it and I'm like, well, what's the long-term opportunity there? And that's what keeps me holding. I'm like, well, I said this stock could be a $3,000 stock in 5 years. And so if I think it has a potential to go to 3,000, why am I going to sell at 800? Like what? Because it could potentially go down or something like that. So I try to go back to the long-term thesis. But in terms of Tesla, yeah, there hasn't been anything huge lately that's happened. It's just like a lot of, what we thought was going to happen is happening. Model Y is getting rolled out. Model 3 selling great. The China Shanghai Gigafactory is still ramping, and obviously Rona has kind of screwed up some things there, but the long-term opportunity for Tesla is immense. And what's made me even more confident in it is just a lack of competition. I think you've talked about this many times. I know I have. It's just, we we really still don't have any serious competition there.
And you have a Tesla, right? Like I remember
yeah.
when I visited you in Las Vegas, we were like racing around in your Tesla.
Yeah.
So yeah, can you tell us a
I have
story?
two now.
Oh, nice! Congrats.
Yeah. Thanks. I got a Model X about 3 or 4 months ago. So yeah, and now I wish I got the Model Y, but now the Model X is great.
So
But
tell me about like the customer side. Like when did you become like, not the stock, but like a Tesla customer and fan?
So Tesla customer, I can tell you about my experience. So I bought the first Tesla, the Model 3, right about a year ago. I got that one, the Performance Edition, and that was pretty amazing experience. Just ordering on your smartphone. They had it ready. Came down, picked it up, signed some papers real quick. It was in and out. I was in and out like literally 10, 15 minutes. I'm not exaggerating. Like that's how fast. Like,
So
the
many
process
less
goes.
headaches than like traditionally buying a car. People don't like buying a car
Yes.
sucked until you
Yeah.
Tesla like yeah.
Yeah. So there was that. The Model X, same exact thing, very simple, in and out. We did have a little problem with merging the accounts. So when you own two Teslas, if you accidentally ordered one from a different email address, it's actually a pain. And that's something Tesla has to work through, in my opinion, for people that have two Teslas, is merging the accounts more seamless. It was kind of like my wife had to contact this person, that person. That was not the best. We have had to have the Model X doors worked on one time. The Falcon Wing doors are just, from what I heard, sometimes they're a problem. It's like the biggest problem. But dude, literally, I set up the service appointment on my phone in literally 2 or 3 minutes. Guy came out to my house. I didn't even see him in person. It just left the key out there because, we're going through Rona, so no one wants to, it's like contactless. Fixes it in the garage. He's out there for an hour. Everything works perfect. Boom. Came to my house. I didn't have to pay a dime for it or anything, just fixed. And versus an old school, dealership, I would have had to drive, let's say 30 minutes away, because the Tesla dealership, or not dealership, but service center is like 30, 35 minutes away from where I live. That would have taken that time out of my day. I would have had to get an Uber back, right? Now I'm out an hour to an hour and a half of my time that I could have been filming videos, talking with people in Discord or whatever, and that's just a game changer, man. And so I can say my Tesla experience has been pretty amazing. And the product, once you ride Tesla, you don't go back. I sold my Alfa Romeo a few months ago because I was just like, this is a piece of junk.
Yeah.
Like literally, like once you start driving a nice car again, you're like, what is this? Like, what the crap? Like, it's like, that smartphone to flip phone moment where you're just like, you don't go back, man. You just keep going the other way. So.
And you're out there. It's so sunny in Vegas. I wonder, have you thought about solar Powerwall, solar roof? Like, is that something you're considering?
I might, I'm kind of want to see more results from the solar roof before I kind of go that route. I want to see, and the other problem is, to get a solar roof, this house I live in right now was built in 2016. So it's like, dang, do I want to get the roof all torn up when it's still a nice roof? I think it's an easier purchase decision if you're getting to that time where your roof is 15, 20, 25 years old. And all of a sudden you're like, well, I'm going to probably have to replace this at some point anyways. Maybe I'll get that. But yeah, I haven't had serious thoughts about that yet, but maybe down the road. And I can say, by the way, supercharger network, amazing. So anytime we go out to LA, Phoenix, anything like that, there's always superchargers available. It's not like, oh, I got to wait 2 hours to get a supercharge. It's like, boom, there's almost always one available. Get supercharged up. Usually it takes 30 minutes to an hour, depending on how low the battery is. And, that has been awesome as well. And it's way cheaper than gassing up. Let's put it that way. Way cheaper.
So I'm curious, I want to pitch you. I just bought Spotify shares today, so I'm going to pitch you on that. But
Okay.
first, I want to hear if you have any like cool companies that are like getting you excited or.
So cool companies, not a lot recently. Revolve, I'm pretty excited about. Ticker symbol RVLV. They're an e-commerce company. They're really, picture Nordstrom, Macy's, the old age, but a new age company because they're all e-commerce. They use Instagram influencers to kind of push their product, and social media influencers as well. So they really understand like the new age of marketing and how underpriced the attention is for using like IG influencers and whatnot. And I just think the management team is really good there. They cut their salary down to $1 in this recent Rona situation. And they're just all about like growing the business and making the hard cuts and things like that. All the executives on the team all got their pay slashed during this situation to make sure the company gets through and to the other side. And I really like appreciate that. So I think Revolve's really, they have a massive opportunity. If you're thinking about a stock that has a chance to 5x, 10x, as long as they execute for the next 5-10 years, it's Revolve. You know, a lot of my investments are, obviously we know Tesla, Facebook's just an easy money stock. It's not the type of stock that you're going to probably 5x or 10x your money on. But at the end of the day, so many people love Facebook. So many people use Instagram. So many people use WhatsApp that it just is what it is. And if you're advertised as a small business, mid-sized business, or big business, you have to advertise on those platforms. So that's kind of an easy money stock.
It's an excellent product for those. And the like tidal wave of advertising revenue that still needs to go from like TV onto Facebook. Yes. They're already printing cash. Like, I personally hate Zuckerberg morally, so I'm staying away. But like financially, like my roommate is long Facebook too, and I'm always giving him crap. I'm like, bro, like you say Instagram's so evil, you won't even be on Instagram, yet you're investing in this. Like, come on.
No, I know, yeah. And a lot of people feel, different types of ways, but we could always paint many different pictures. That a lot of people get caught up in getting so negative on it. They get emotional about an investment decision. And at the end of the day, I could paint so many companies so bad in this world. It's incredible. I could make anybody look bad. I could make any company look bad, to be honest.
Yeah, that's an excellent point. And I think like, Bezos got grilled by the media. I feel like Elon Musk and Zuck are like the evil CEOs now, but like, it's like if you took a highlight reel of like your worst moments as like a parent and just played it over, like how bad would that make you look as a parent? And like as a CEO, I'm like, this is, a very similar thing, making so many decisions at once. It's easy to nitpick, like Elon Musk did this, that looked horrible. Jeff Bezos was horrible to his workers here. Zuckerberg screwed over the Winklevoss. But like in the grand scheme of things, are they creating value, building awesome stuff that people use all the time and love? Like, yes, and hard decisions have to be made.
Yeah, and that's one last point I'll make is Facebook has the hardest challenge in the world. You have billions of people that are using your platform every day, and that's just a challenge that no company's ever had to face. It's one thing to have a lot of customers ordering packages on Amazon, or have a lot of people ordering iPhones, but when you have billions of people all over the world, so many people posting stuff constantly on these social medias, it's hard to be on top of everything. It's impossible. I mean, imagine it's hard for me to be on top of everything that's going on in my business, and I only have like maybe 5 or 10 workers. Imagine these massive corporations. It's a challenge. But anyways, to get back to investment ideas, I mean, there's not a lot out there right now that I'm like super excited about, because a lot of what I want to see is this economy. I really want to see how this economy opens back up. And I really want to see like, how do people get back to spending? How long does it take for corporate earnings to come back? And so a lot of what I'm doing right now is just kind of like not really making new investments, just kind of cash stacking a little bit, and just kind of thinking about, let's see what happens, man. Because the market's bounced back a lot. We've priced in a lot of good news, and ultimately I want to see like what happens. Like now we just need to wait, and now to just see over the next few months, like what happens, man.
Totally. All right. Can I pitch you on Spotify? Because this is one that I've been lurking on Spotify for so long, being like, okay, I love the product. One of my 4 apps in my home bar, kind of digitizing the whole music industry. And then they're trading at cheap price sales, really strong growth, great CEO. And then they just signed the exclusive deal with Joe Rogan, which is, I made a Moonshot Monday about, but like exclusive Joe Rogan full podcast and video version on Spotify. And I single-handedly think this is going to like grow subscribers, possibly have a tidal wave of other creators put exclusive stuff on Spotify, sort of like the moment where they won. And we still have the stock trading at like a 50% price sales discount to Netflix, even though to me they have way more growth potential. So I'm like, A, I think that 50% premium should be immediately priced in. B, like I think the next 3 years, huge growth. So that's personally one I've been excited about, but I'm kind of like at a high level agreeing with you. Like it's been tough to find good deals here. And even with Tesla, I'm like, man, I have a little cash, but I bought Spotify instead of Tesla because I have a massive amount of Tesla already, but it just, it hasn't.
Yeah. So first off, congrats on Spotify. It looks like it's up 8% today, so that's
Oh,
pretty cool.
I bought it like when it was up 7% though. So
Oh, okay. I thought you bought it like a few weeks ago or whatever.
literally
It was like,
like 30 minutes before we're recording this.
okay. So my thoughts on Spotify. So usually if somebody's giving me a bullish thesis, I like to come back with a bearish thesis,
Love it.
around it, just because it's better to kind of go that route. But so Spotify, the main negatives I see, for that stock is, one, they're not profitable, and I don't think they're expected to be profitable anytime soon, and that kind of worries me. One of the reasons that attracted me to Tesla when I got in about 2 years ago was I saw them potentially starting to get to profitability very soon. And I'm not sure if that's the situation with Spotify. I don't cover it like that. But if it's not, I hate those type of companies that it's like, well, we're going to make money someday, but you don't know when it is. And so that would kind of be a turnoff for me. I can't speak to their balance sheet because I don't really know what they have and what they don't. I don't track it like that. The other thing I would say is it's tough to compete with the big dogs, and they are going to be directly competing with the big dogs. Apple Music's going to be their main competitor, right? We use Apple Music in the house. We have that account. And then you're kind of competing with YouTube to a certain extent, because a lot of people listen to YouTube if they want just free music. They want to watch music videos and things like that. So you're competing with Google. You're competing with Apple. Amazon has a product in the market. I'm not sure how well that product does, to be completely honest. But yeah, I think it's going to be tough to compete with Apple Music. I really do. I'm not saying they can't win. I just think it's going to be it's going to be a challenge. I mean, I used to own Pandora stock back in the day. Pandora, you guys, I might use it or might have used in the past. It was internet radio, right? And the thing for Pandora was, it was always like, when are they going to get to profitability? And it was always like, well, someday we're going to get there. They never ended up getting there. They had to get bought out by like Sirius XM. And then it was like Apple, launched a radio service that was a competitor. That hurt their business model really bad. And they could just never scale to a level where they got that big. And so I worry about that a little bit with something like a Spotify. So for me, it's probably a no-touch stock. But at the same time, if they got that type of management team that can compete and ultimately beat Apple, which is what they need to do if they're going to get to the other side, because Apple, we know, they'll do anything to win that game. They make so much money off iPhones. They don't even need to make money off Apple Music if they really didn't want to. So whereas Spotify, they got to make money off that. That's their only chance. So, I don't want to talk you out of it, but I mean, for me, yeah, it probably would be a no touch.
No, that's some excellent feedback. It's super interesting because to me they're like basically break even from a gap standpoint, a little bit profitable cash flow, and they're just using that cash flow like buy Anchor, buy Gimlet Media, pay $100 million to get exclusivity for Joe Rogan, and they're at the kind of that inflection of like, I think they have $1 billion balance sheet buffer. I need to double check that,
Okay.
but so like they don't need cash, and they're making a little bit of money and just spending it on awesome growth, which is driving that user number up 30%. But I agree with you. There's like not out of the woods yet. And I think if they can prove that they can stay with Amazon and Apple, then like that's how we get to that $150 billion company 3 to 5x that I'm counting on. But it's not, there's a lot of uncertainty, which is why it's not there yet, I think. So
Yeah.
yeah.
No,
Great
for
points.
sure. Yeah. It's all about how they compete and the execution. That's the thing I think some people don't give enough credit to is for something like this to work, it's going to need high level execution from the management team. Everybody wants to call Nikola Motors the next Tesla. I'm like, hey guys, remember, Tesla's a miracle. You know what I mean? Like this is crazy. You know what I mean? So don't get so caught up in, this is the next, this. It's like, this stuff's hard to pull off, man. And so you gotta do risk management essentially with a lot of these stocks. You can only put so much in certain stock because it might not work out. You know what I mean? So you can't, some of the, we know that some of these people are going all in some of these stocks. It's like, guys, chill.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Awesome. So my last question is, I think a lot of people's mind is like, this economy is so uncertain, such a weird time to be investing. A lot of people are like, why isn't the stock market crashing more? Do you have any, I try and stay away from the macro predicting it, kind of like Warren Buffett, but I feel like this is just such a weird time. Do you have any thoughts on what's going on and how this all plays out?
Yeah, I mean, I've been doing this for 12 years, and this is the weirdest time for sure. I mean, because we see an unemployment rate at 15% plus. I think it's at now. We see the GDP declining the way it is. We see, tons of businesses are not in business right now because of, obviously, they're not allowed to be in business, or even some, like let's say for instance, I have a lot of restaurants here in Vegas can open, but a lot are choosing not to do so because they can only have their dining room 50% full. So we're
Wow.
getting so much conflicting data. You see somebody like Warren Buffett not really buying stocks, even on the big dip that happened in March. It's like, like mortgages, and now they're talking about they'll just put that on payments in for future years rather than you have to pay it all up front. And because before it was like, dude, if they can't pay rent or mortgage 1 month, how are they going to pay it at 3 months? Like, that's not going to work out. Like the housing market's going to crash. But now if they're going to put those mortgage payments in the future and you just get back to normal, then maybe it's not so bad. So it's there's so much conflicting data out there right now that is really confusing time. And that's why I'm continuing to hold stocks, but I'm not an aggressive buyer of stocks right now. I'm really not. I'm just like, I'll hold what I got, and I'm going to cash up, and I want to really see, this economy over the next 6 months, how it opens back up and what we're looking at. And if I miss out on an extra 3% or 5% in the NASDAQ, oh, well, I'll take that risk rather than, oh, things weren't great and, the market goes down 20, 30, 40%. The market's not going to go up 30 or 40%. I can guarantee anybody that over the next 6 to 12 months. But if things went really bad, the market could easily go down 30 to 40% over the next 6 months. And I think that's something just to keep in mind. But it's a weird time. I 100% agree. And it's very confusing. It's very conflicting. And, you just have to make the best out of it. And for me, that's holding stocks and just holding on to cash too. And even though cash is getting devalued every day because they keep print more money. So, it's
Are
tough.
you a Bitcoin guy? I've been loading up on Bitcoin.
So I'm not yet, but I am thinking more and more about it. And the real one I'm actually looking at in terms of crypto space is Ethereum. I don't know. There's something about Ethereum that it feels like there's something big, some type of big potential with Ethereum. And I think that's the one I really got to look into more. Everybody, obviously talks about Bitcoin, and some people are Bitcoin Cash, but I don't know. Ethereum seems like it's a platform which could potentially be built upon that could build like potential huge services in the future. So
Yeah.
I don't know, man. But the thing is, it's a little over my brain. So I need you to kind of look into it for me, please. Can you do a
Yeah.
video on Ethereum for
I
me?
will. I'll put it in the queue.
Oh, yes, yes.
Um, Well, yeah, thanks so much for coming on the show, Jeremy. Really
Oh, my
appreciate it.
pleasure.
And just wanted to give you a huge thank you and shout out for doing what you do because you inspired me. And I know you're doing like an awesome service for the community. And like, I just love seeing it evolve of like, we're our own kind of voices. We have our own shows. We have different opinions, but we're just kind of like elevating the discussion together. And, even if I disagree with half your stuff, like I love hearing your take and seeing your opinion and just seeing the way you think through stuff. So everybody's going to subscribe to your channel. I'll put links below. But yeah, really just thank you.
Thanks. I appreciate you having me on. Like I said, I got a ton of respect for you, and I love watching your content, especially the Tesla stuff, man. Always tuning in. So I appreciate you.
Thank you, Jeremy. Peace out, dude.
All right, peace.